Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius, as usual, I'm doing this reading with my own tarot deck, so the cards that you see are from this deck. So, Sagittarius, let's talk about your subconscious and how it's activated when you are asleep. And it's coming online right when you are about to fall asleep, which is the main focus of your reading today. It's like that twilight moment between, awake state and being asleep. So it feels like you are in a moment where there aren't stresses or there aren't stressors, is what I'm hearing. Um, so you can relax, you can enjoy, but there is work to do when you are asleep. And I'm sure, if you are in this journey of self discovery, self study, self awareness, I'm sure you know about this concept about how when we are asleep, there is a very awake part of ourselves, a awake part of our brain, and maybe not necessarily the brain itself, but it's like the consciousness, right? It's like the invisible part of ourselves is working even though our body is still. But that's the thing, it's like the work that you're doing when you are asleep is for the body, is on behalf of the body. And that's interesting, that's fascinating, because it feels like there is a very intelligent, um it's like this, what is the word, cooperation. It's like this symbiotic type of work that happens between your mind, your heart, and your body when you are asleep. Okay, so let's fall asleep, Sagittarius, with the moon, right? The moon here is coming with a lullaby song. It's like it wants to lull you, right? Because what I saw here was kind of like a mother holding a baby in her arms, right? Putting a baby to sleep. So this is you being put to sleep, but in a very gentle, in a very loving way, right? Just like a mother is holding you so that you can rest. Because the very next card that was very, very quick to come, the Four of Swords, is talking about a very restful moment. So it's like this what I'm hearing right now is like the sleep of the gods, which is interesting because it's almost like you go to a realm. This is what the moon is bringing, right? It's almost like up in the clouds. It's like going to it's like heaven, but in your sleep. And you know that even before you fall asleep, right? It's like when you are in the arms of your mother, or when you were, right? Just as a metaphor, but it's like feeling like you are in a very restful place, in a very restful position, or in a place where you don't have to worry about anything, just relaxing, right? Just like I'm just remembering, when I guide my students in yoga classes to Shavasana, right? So that restful moment, this is what it feels like. So it's almost like, when I embody the place of the yoga teacher, it's almost like this mother figure that is lulling others, right? Is putting others to sleep into Shavasana. But here, it's almost like this mother figure is, it's like it's not necessarily in the picture, right? It's like it's just you falling asleep, but in a very, it's like in a very loving way. It's like you don't have any type of resistance, you don't have any type of um yeah, it's like you don't mind being put to sleep. It's almost like it's very welcome. You are welcoming this restful moment, right? It's like your mind wants to fall asleep. Your mind wants to have this moment of just peace and rest and quiet. But then with the world card, well, there are two things actually. Because you see here how there are these curved lines right here in the middle. The first thing that I saw was, it's like your eyes slowly closing. So it's almost like that moment where, you're no longer resisting sleep, It's like this is very easy to see in babies or in children, right? It's like when they are finally falling asleep, it's almost like they try to resist it, but it's impossible. It's like the eyelids are so heavy, right? This is what I'm seeing the first thing with the world card. But then, because this world card was in the extended for the Scorpio, and it was talking about the multifaceted lens, right? So it was almost like this magnifying glass that would zoom in, but at the same time bringing a global perspective. So this is the fascinating thing for you, Sagittarius. When you are falling asleep, when you are in a very restful moment where your mind doesn't have to fight to stay awake, it's like you have this sort of very zoomed in perspective, the ability to focus almost like in different areas or in different zones, right? It's like every facet has almost like details that are incredibly appealing, right? But then you still have the global perspective, and maybe this is right when you are about to fall asleep. So it's like when you are, your eyes are slowly closing, but you're still waking up and then falling asleep and waking up and falling asleep. And then when finally it's like you're fully asleep, that's when you've entered the realm of the sun, which I know may sound like a paradox, but because the moon here is just symbolizing this lulling, right? This it's like this mother just putting a child to sleep, right? So it's like this is the moment where you are ready to allow the conscious mind to give space for the subconscious. So this is almost like putting your conscious mind to sleep so that your subconscious mind with the sun can come fully online, right? Can come fully to a wake state. So is in that moment where it's like you're no longer fighting the sleep, right? Your eyes are like heavy enough that you have this shift between having a very focused perspective but also a very wide one, a very broad one, right? With the global and the specific, right? It's like it seems like you can have this shift. It's like how do I explain this? It's like this very abstract perception of the waking state and the sleeping state at the same time, all at once, right? Is simultaneous here. But then when you finally close your eyes, that's when it's like something shines through, right? It's almost like this is the light bulb moment where your subconscious is no longer asleep and now it's fully awake, but when you are asleep, right? So when you when you come to this state of complete rest, there's something that is like this, it's like this blossoming, this it's coming through as like an alarm, right? Or like this clock that just starts ringing and just it's like it's giving this message, is resounding this message to your brain, because the sun here is wanting to be almost like a this pulsing light. It's not necessarily like this stream of light that is uninterrupted. Is more like this signal, right? It's almost like what is the name of the Morse code, right? It's like it's wanting to signal something. It's like these intervals, right? There are spaces in between the light. So it's like when it's fully awake, that's when you know that it's time for work, for your brain to work, because the Knight of Swords here is wanting to be your active mental state, but it's not the conscious mind, right? This is your subconscious mind ready for work, ready for a mission. Because, and it's interesting, let me show you the other cards because maybe it's going to make more sense. But here we have the Queen of Pentacles, and then we're ending with another Knight. So even though there are three core cards, which, If it was a very simple, maybe a very shallow reading, this would be, you know, three different people or almost like characters from a dream. But I want to say that for you, Sagittarius, maybe because you have a very high functioning mind already, right? By nature, it's almost like you can distinguish these three different characters, let's say, or these three different core cards as three different aspects of yourself. So the mind, the body, and the heart, right? Of course, because of the suits, but see the difference between the knights and the queen. So I want to say that the queen here is giving the mission, first of all, to the brain, to the mind, to the subconscious mind specifically, right? Because there needs to be, it's almost like this, the queen is like the director of repair mode, right? It's like the mind is working to send signals, right? Maybe what is the word? Like neuro signals. What is that? Um, like these impulses, right, from the hormones, right? It's like sending hormones all over the body where there is this need for a bodily, a physical repair. So the queen here is the one sending out missions to the brain and then to the heart, because I do feel like ultimately, Sagittarius, it's not necessarily the brain that needs repairing, it's more the heart. But at the same time, so this is very fascinating because, you know, it's maybe the capacity that you have to see things in a very detailed manner. So it's almost like zooming into one facet of this global perspective, right? It's almost like the global perspective is the perspective that you have of the whole. So the knowingness that all of these three characters are you at the same time, but they are representing um, different tasks, I want to say. It's not necessarily different aspects, even though, you know, there are different aspects as well, but it's more like different roles, right? It's like the mind is playing a role, the body is playing a role, and your heart is playing a role, right? But because there are the two knights, this is what I was going to say. So these two are on missions, whereas the queen is like the one that is giving the orders, right? So because, and the interesting thing also is because the body when you are asleep is completely in rest, right? It's like it's this just flat, unmoving body, right? It's a very quiet, still aspect of yourself. But because it's still enough, right? It's able to, with its own intelligence, right? It's almost like this biological chemical process that the body has that instantaneously, it's like activates through these signals, through these hormones, through these impulses, whatever, it's like whatever neurological subconscious process needs to go down in order for the repair to happen where it needs repairing, which seems to be the focus at this moment, Sagittarius, the heart space. But I want to say that it's not necessarily the heart as in the metaphor of your emotions or, you know, your well-being. It's more like the functioning of your heart, which is weird, but it that's because the one that is giving the it's like the command, right, the orders is the body. So it is coming from this facet, right, even though it is also encompassed, you know, as a whole with the global perspective, but it's like it's focusing in your physical well-being, right? So it's almost like the cells of your heart are working also thanks to the signal of your neurons, right? So but it's more like this it's like this involuntary type of signal, right? It's like a very quick reading of this Morse code, understanding the message coming from the body that is still to receive the repair, to receive the message, right? And it's like the heart here, it's like the heart, because this is the last card, right? So it's almost like when the message is received by your brain, by your subconscious mind, it's like you know that the work that is being done is on behalf of the body, that is the one that is sending out the missions, right? It's almost like there needs to be, maybe it's not even like an entire night's sleep. Maybe this is just a quick nap, right? It's the type of nap that you need to repair and restore your body, but from a physiological type of aspect, right? But focusing on the heart. So it's almost like the mind, the brain, the subconscious mind. Oh my God. Okay. So what is bringing me now? It's almost like the mind is creating almost like these scenarios and bringing in the characters in your dream. So it's almost like if you have a very significant dream about your heart, know that it's not just a metaphor, it's not just symbolic, it's also very physiological, right? It's like some sort of repair in the cells of your heart. It's like it's also happening simultaneously to this entire abstract dream, right? So this is all, maybe this is happening in like, a quick 10-minute nap. This is, that's the reason why there needs to be like this ready to go type of warriors, right? Or like workers, maybe, because the knights are ready to do whatever it needs, right? It's like they're here to work for the queen. So it's like the queen here is the body. It's almost like your body is being treated as like a sovereign being, right? It's almost like the intelligence of your body together with your subconscious mind and the heart space. It's like they're all understanding in a very specific case. It's like the roles that need to be played by each part, knowing that there is this whole. So the global perspective of, the whole body, the whole mind, the whole heart, the whole spirit, or however I want to see, it's like it's also being acknowledged by each character. So it's almost like each facet knows that it belongs to the whole body, right? So maybe that's the reason why there is this strange falling asleep perspective, right? Or like multifaceted perspective. So when the job is done, when you're ready to wake up, I want to say, it's like your heart is full, because here you have been given a mission, right? Or it's like part of yourself has been given a mission and it did exactly what it was expected to do in the body or on behalf of the body for the heart space. So the heart is beating like proudly, or like with gratitude, right? It's like there is this notion that the heart, which is part of the totality of you, the totality of your body, is thanking all of the other characters, right? Even this one, because it's also like, it's like the mission of the heart is also to feel gratitude. So this is their job, this is their role, right? So it's like the moment that the message has been passed on, right? It's like each part of your body is working as it should in your sleep, in your nap. It's like you know that it's done. You know that you can, get ready to wake up again when this feeling of gratitude overtakes you, because I feel like this is almost like the ending part of the dream, right? So it's like, the surgery has been performed, or the whatever work or repair or restoration was being performed here in your sleep. It's like the dream completes itself, right? It's like this beginning, middle, and ending of the dream, right? So the gratitude that the heart feels is the work that the heart needs to play as the warrior, right? As the knight, working on behalf of the body, of the queen, of the sovereign, right? That needs repair, that needs restoration, or just like this, like rebooting, right? It's like this, it's like recharging the heart. right? Maybe we could see this as a recharging of the heart. So the dream ends with gratitude, right? And that's it. It's almost like this replenished heart. And that's when you know that perhaps you're ready to wake up. So I'm not being given like what happens when you wake up, but it's almost like the conclusion, the completion of whatever job needed to be done when you were asleep, right? So it's almost like it begins with this preparation for you to fall asleep in a very restful place, in a very restful moment, where you gain this weird, very zoomed in, but also very zoomed out perspective all at once. And then every part of the body knows exactly what it needs to do, right? Ending with this gratitude, right? So maybe this is also part of a weird dream that you have, Sagittarius, where it's like when it gets to a certain part, maybe this is, your practice in lucid dreaming, perhaps. It's like when you know that it gets to the part of gratitude, feeling gratitude in that dream. It's like that's when you know that, the full message has been delivered and now you can wake up. That's that's beautiful, actually. So I am going to pull more cards nonetheless because I want to see if there's something that happens when you wake up, or if there's something else that wants to come up about this reading. Also, I'm going to pull from the astrological runes in the extended. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Bye.